welcome to Beyond the Chat, where we introduce you to some of the smartest marketers we know, and that is guests of our CM Twitter chats. I am Monina Wagner. I am the community manager for the Content Marketing Institute. Before I introduce today's guest, let me tell you a little bit about CMI. CMI's mission is to advance the practice of content marketing. So we do that with our daily blog, with our live streams, with our webinars, with our events, Content Marketing World, and of course, Content Tech Summit, which is coming up in just a few weeks. I am so excited to be able to introduce you to one of my good friends. We met on Twitter because of the chat. She is a content marketing world speaker. She is just an amazing, wonderful, wonderful woman. I'd like you all to meet Andi Robinson. Hi, Andi.
Hi, Mo. How are you?
Good. I'm so glad you were able to join us for Beyond the Chat, because the last hour for the Twitter chat, we spoke about digital asset management, and it was a quick hour. It was so filled with really good nuggets.
It was so quick and so many great ideas and inputs from everybody in the community.
And I was telling Andi before the show is that digital asset management, damn, is not my wheelhouse. And I learned so much today because the community just came out with like so many great, not just tips, but like sharing what their experiences was. And, you know, it's really great to see what other marketers are doing.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's situation is unique. You know, some people are with agencies, some people are with organizations, big organizations, little organizations. So it's great to see all of the different perspectives.
Well, so that comes to you. So you are global lead for Corteva Agriscience, but
yes,
you're
Corteva.
Corteva, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Corteva Agriscience, but you are also the founder of Hyjing's Marketing. So how is it going from working with such a large organization, but then you specialized with working with small business owners with Hyjing's Marketing?
Yeah, so I actually started Hyjing's Marketing about 10 years ago or so, when I was kind of in a period of, not working for a large organization and was going out on my own a little bit. And I kept it, up through these years since I've been working for a larger organization, Corteva specifically, for the last 8 years. And I think it really gives me a unique perspective because I do see both sides. I see that big company, global organization perspective, working with big agencies. But then I also see that perspective of working with smaller companies and working from the agency side, where I'm having to make some of the decisions that I usually rely on my agency for. So it's good to see both sides of the coin.
So I have to ask, when you chose the name, tell me the story behind Hyjing's Marketing. Well, how did that name come about?
So I wanted something that was a little bit fun, and hijinks is a little bit mischievous, I guess. And I really like the hard letter patterns. That's why I made it an X instead of a KS, which is typically how it's spelled. So Hyjinx. I think it's just a fun word, and it shows a little bit of playfulness in my agency name.
Well, when I hear hijinks, it actually made me think of Jinkies, which made me think of, who's that, Velma, right? That Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah.
And it's definitely, it does have that fun vibe to it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
So we won't take it as far back as our days of watching cartoons, right? But let's take it a little bit back and talk about, was marketing always the role that you wanted to get into? Like you had talked about the hard sounds, and it's like, is that a writer perspective? Like what really got you into the content role that you're in today?
So you're going to laugh because I did not go to school to go into marketing. My undergraduate degree is in juvenile justice. I was a juvenile probation officer and a social worker for a long time. I know you look very.
I never
perplexed.
knew that.
Yeah. And a teacher. I taught in schools in my local area for a number of years. And then I was going to go to law school. I was very interested in law. I've worked for several law firms. And I decided to get married and have some kids and stayed home for a couple of years. And when I went back into the working world, I got a job at Eli Lilly here in Indianapolis, working in their marketing area. And I found that I really loved it. So I went back to school and I got my MBA with a concentration in marketing. So I did a complete 180 in the career department. And I've been in marketing ever since. So like I said, marketing at Eli Lilly, and then here at Corteva Agriscience, also in Indianapolis. So both life sciences companies, and then content marketing. It's just, I love the idea of the psychology of it, trying to come up with content that is going to make people react and make them do what you want them to do. And so that is really what kind of draws me to the content side of marketing.
So tell me about if there were other people who wanted to make that pivot. I mean, that wasn't a small pivot that you made. What advice would you give them?
I often, because, well, not so much lately, but, in the early years of kind of digital marketing, I had a lot of friends who were like, well, will you talk to my kid? They're interested in digital marketing, and because it was kind of an up and coming field, but in most universities, they didn't have programs around digital marketing. Nowadays they do. But I always told the young people, I guess, I feel old, but that just to follow your passion, whatever that is at the moment. When I was younger and I was in my undergrad years, being a juvenile or getting into juvenile law was really my passion. I wanted to help youth. My degree was a third psychology, a third sociology, and a third criminology, all dealing with kids. And so that's where my passion was at the time. When I had my own kids, it was a little hard to go back to that world where you see tragedy sometimes with children. And so I took my pivot and I followed what was right for me at the time. So it can be done. You just have to be brave enough to do it.
Well, you mentioned the kids. So you and I were both sports moms. It's something that I know we enjoyed discussing. But what I have a problem with is work-life balance, because you're always rushing to pick someone up, or you're trying to get ready snacks for a game or whatever it is. And what makes it, you make it look easy. You make it look easy. So,
it doesn't feel easy.
Well, I don't think it ever is easy, but you do make it look easy. So where have you found that work-life balance?
Yeah, so my kids are older now. My sons are 21 and 19. One of them is just back from his freshman year at college for the summer. But, in the early years when I was, they were both in football and track and, every sport possible. You just have to take the time and make sure that your leaders and your management are very clear that you have a set time that you are available to work for them, to make money for them. That is your job. And then you have a set time where you're going to be off. You're going to turn the email off. You're not going to respond to emails, maybe unless it's an emergency or something like that. And so I think that helps, just making it very clear that there are boundaries and guidelines. It's a lot harder now with working from home because my computer's always up. When I used to go into the office, I only go in a couple days a week anyway, even pre-COVID, but I could turn off my computer and I'd shut it off and I come home and I don't open it at night. But now it's just here in front of me all the time. So it's a little bit harder, but I'm in a little bit different situation now because my kids don't need me as much.
I remember when I had first started working from home, and this was years before COVID, but I was working from home and I realized that I really didn't know what time it was until it started getting dark. When the sun started going down is when I started realizing, oh, wait, I should have stopped working 3 hours ago. Because like you said, it's just so easy, right? To when there's zero distractions, it's really easy to be able to bury our head into work. So having those boundaries definitely is really, really important.
Yeah, definitely.
So we started Beyond the Chat so that we can not only get to know you, but we can ask an 8th question, because we're never able to fit all of that information into 1 hour. So this is your question 8. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So a lot of people may not know you enjoy scrapbooking. So
I do.
that is something I could never do. It just arts and crafts, glue, scissors. I, got an unsatisfactory in kindergarten and it scarred me for life. But you are great at it. And I want to know, what social media platform do you find the most inspiration for your work?
Pinterest, from a scrapbooking perspective, is Pinterest. And I'm kind of a little bit OCD. And so I like, being able to lay everything out and kind of plan it. And when people hear that I do scrapbooking, they're like, oh, you mean digital scrapbooking? I'm like, are you kidding me? No, like I'm on the computer all day long. I want a book with physical pictures and that kind of thing. And I have a machine, that does cutting and all that fancy stuff too. But for scrapbooking inspiration, definitely Pinterest. For overall inspiration, oh gosh, I don't know. From a work perspective, probably LinkedIn is where I get a lot of my inspiration. I'm like a constant learner. If I could afford to go to school forever, I would. Like if I could go back to law school, I would. And so I love to, to read articles, CMI, like I love all of the articles out of CMI. I have 5 or 6 of them open right now on my browser that I just need to read. So that's definitely an inspiration for me.
Well, Andi, I am so happy that you were able to spend some time with us today. Where can everyone find you online?
Yeah, so on Twitter and Facebook, I'm at Hyjing Marketing, Hijinx Marketing. And then I'm also on LinkedIn, Andi Robinson. You can find me there. So I look forward to chatting with everyone.
Andi, thank you again. And thanks to everyone else who has tuned in. We have our Twitter chat nearly every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. You can find our schedule of topics on our website. And with that, we will see everyone soon. Thanks again.
Thanks so much, guys. Bye.